You are listening to the Paul McGuire Show. My next guest coming up is a man that a lot of people have tried to censor. There are many people that do not want him to speak over the public airwaves. They want to censor, silence his story. They don't want you to hear it, but we're going to give you his story in just a couple of seconds. There have been newspapers, there have been activist groups that have tried to shut this man's voice down, but we're going to bring it to you. His name is James Hartline, and he is an ex-homosexual and ex-gay activist, and obviously that in and of itself is not politically correct. So we're going to hear his story. James Hartline, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Paul, so much for having me on your show.
James, before we get into your testimony, and I really want to get into that, your whole story, tell us, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding you. Tell us who it is that's trying to shut you up and why people are so threatened by what you have to say.
Well, I think primarily two reasons. One is they consider anybody who was once a part of homosexuality who is declaring that they've changed out of that lifestyle and out of that sin, and particularly because of Jesus Christ, they want to discredit that testimony because it destroys the premise that they base all of their culture and all of their activism on, that it's a birth trait, that they're born that way. And so when somebody changes, it really destroys that whole premise, and it begins to erode that stronghold that they've built their lie on.
All right, so you are no longer a homosexual. You have been set free from that lifestyle, and the very fact that you have changed basically exposes the myth or the lie that you're born homosexual.
That's right, and it even goes deeper with me, is that I don't even have any attractions towards men at all anymore. I mean, I could look at any man, and there is absolutely nothing there sexual, no desire there, and it's a complete cleansing. And so that's a really important factor, because it's not just, for me, it's not just about stopping something or restraining myself from doing something. It's about not even having that desire anymore, and that's really where the Word of God has deeply penetrated my soul. The other thing why they really consider me to be a threat, and they're really dumbfounded by me, is the fact that I still live among them. I live in the middle of one of the largest gay communities in the United States, that being in San Diego, California. And so I haven't left the area. I've overcome the sin in the midst of the very area that I used to be in bondage to.
Well, that's very unique, because most of the people that I know that came out of the homosexual or lesbian lifestyle have had tremendous struggles and internal conflicts, and yet you're telling me you still live in what, a gay neighborhood?
I live right in the middle of it, and actually I live 2 blocks from one of the largest gay and lesbian centers in the United States. And I think what's really important about this is that in my case, because of the call that God has upon my life, He didn't permit me to leave, and I tried to leave, and I wanted to leave sometimes because the battle was so terrible that it almost took my life, and I wanted to get out of here. God restrained me from leaving because it plays an important role in what God has called me to do, and I think that the Lord really wanted to demonstrate the power of the Word of God in its totality to eliminate the bondage of sin, even when I was completely surrounded by that very temptation that kept me bound.
Now, you have been in the center of a political controversy down there in San Diego. Tell us a little bit about the fundraising going on and some of the political things and what you've been speaking out against.
Well, I struggle with, it's a daily battle for me about how far to go with activism in the political arena, and it seems like when I say, I'm just not going to go any farther than what I have, which I've already gone quite a ways, it's like I have to go back and get myself cleansed because I'm dealing with a really ugly spirit that has taken over San Diego. And so I have to constantly pull myself back, but every time I pull myself back, it's like something else occurs which draws me back further into the battle.
Now, what do you mean by a really ugly spirit that's taken over San Diego?
Well, I can tell you that I have, extensive knowledge, particularly based on the fact that I live where I live and I see the things that I see, but I have deep knowledge that there is such immoral pollution and illegal and corrupt activity that's gone on within this gay community, and it's almost completely taken over our local city council and our city government.
Now, give me an example. How it's taken over the San Diego City Council.
I'll give you a perfect example of something that I've recently been dealing with, and I'm a vociferous reader of things that people within the gay community are up to, so I'm abreast of what they're involved with. And recently, I became aware of a candidate that's running for the city attorney in our for our city government. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I found out is that he recently had a fundraiser inside of the home of two men that own one of the largest gay bars in San Diego. But it's not just any bar; it's a bar that promotes gay pornography and has gay porn stars that perform in the bar. So it's not just having a fundraiser with people within the gay community, it's having a fundraiser and taking money from people that are tied to the porn industry. So,
all right. So wait. So you got a guy that's running for what? City attorney.
City attorney, and the city attorney is responsible for prosecuting violations of the law, violations of the codes, and why that's important for two reasons. One is that recently, last year, we have three of our city council members that have been indicted by the federal government for taking bribes from the strip club owners here in San Diego. So the city attorney is responsible for monitoring those kinds of things and to violate offenders of those municipal codes regulating adult entertainment. So the individual in question here is the front runner to be the next city attorney, and fortunately, he didn't get the 50% he needed to outright be elected to city attorney in the primary. So now there's a runoff between him and a woman who's actually a Christian who's running against him. And so the issue here is very problematic for San Diego.
But wait, what you're telling me is that this candidate for city attorney is in the home of a man who owns a gay nightclub where gay porno stars come, and he's taking money from a guy that's involved in the gay porno business. He's taking money from the gay porno business to become the city attorney of San Diego so that he can theoretically enforce the laws. I mean, it's a contradiction, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't just the one man. It was him and his lover that owned the bar. And
wait, the city attorney has a lover?
No. The two men that own the gay bar.
Oh, okay.
There were two men. And there was also a number of other men that were there that own other establishments that also feature pornographic performers. And this man is close to being the next city attorney. So I got on one of the local talk shows, the Rick Roberts Show, which is a pretty listened to conservative talk show in the morning, and I revealed the information because it's pertinent to our local elections. And I was given the opportunity to confront this city attorney candidate on this talk show about his involvement with this situation, and he first tried to deny that he even knew.
All right, James, I want to get back to you in just a moment to find out what happened when you confronted this candidate for city attorney. We are talking with James Hartline, a former gay activist, former homosexual. A lot of people are trying to shut his voice up, but we're going to give him an opportunity to speak because we believe in free speech here on the Paul McGuire Show.